Where do you want to go with women's studies?
Well, my dream is to be a civil rights or women's rights lawyer.
And we could see that happening, totally.
Thank you.
I do want to run this by you, though. Some of the scenes you've done, I understand that they're empowering for you.
Right.
That you enjoy them and you like them, and people do. People
Totally.
are into some of this stuff. However, it's the women who are with the men who watch these scenes. I'm talking about, I think it was facialabuse.com, and quite frankly, it looked like simulated rape. I understand that wasn't happening and that you were that you were a willing participant, but I'm curious what you say to the women who have like boyfriends potentially who watch that, and it gives them perhaps exaggerated or distorted expectations of what they should have in a sexual relationship. That's fair.
It's totally. I've received so much criticism for being, on facial abuse, and I wrote an article literally yesterday in XOJane confronting this. I recognize I do regret going on facial abuse. I do, because the history of the website indicates that it may not be as empowering to other women on the website. However, I stand by the right of other performers to do rough sex scenes.
The right of other performers, we're not questioning. I'm curious.
No,
do you think
totally.
the ultimate impact that some of those sites have on women?
It's it's the same thing where people say that, playing Grand Theft Auto causes other people to go out in the streets and kill each other. You have to understand that BDSM and kink, it's a widely recognized sexual preference. It's not something that doesn't occur. And to try and censor the porn industry and
no, we're not talking
to
about
say
that,
right?
Yeah.
So you started watching porn, you said, at 12 years old, right?
Yes, I did.
Did your parents know?
No, my parents were not aware of it. They did not endorse it. It was
how
all
did you
me.
how did you get involved with watching porn at 12?
Well, I think that the tone you're using is one of you seem a little bit concerned.
Of course, as a mother, I would be concerned.
Absolutely, but what people don't understand is this whole idea of 18 as this legal age to watch porn and this legal age. It's all a societal construct, and I think that to deny that, I was going through puberty, I was curious, and I think that to deny that. Teenagers and people going through puberty who have these sexual urges, I think to deny that, they may have sexual urges and to try to repress them, I think that's absurd. And we shouldn't try to keep our children from learning and being educated about sexuality.
What's the goal right now? You've done a lot of media, and we appreciate that. You're on our couch. Thank you for being here. But where are we going with this? I mean, right now, it seems like you're the biggest name in porn other than Jenna Jameson, who's been here before.
Yeah, who did not leave...
yeah, we were concerned about her, but
yes.
I mean, what's the object? Are you trying to make as much money as possible? It is all about this this message. Why all the press? What's next?
Well, what I'm really trying to do here is, I want to expand my brand. I have a new sex toy line coming out, so that's awesome. But at the same time, I'm really trying to break down barriers. I think that even just being on here and being on all of these mainstream television shows, I'm breaking barriers between the mainstream and between the adult industry. And I think that that's great and it's amazing. And I want to keep getting my message out there about female empowerment as well as sex worker rights.
Well, as a mother, I understand that you think that you're expanding the brand. I'm just curious to know how your parents are handling it, because I know that they were taken, off guard by you doing this. So obviously, you didn't feel that comfortable to tell your parents what you were doing.
Right, and that's an experience that unfortunately a lot of women in the industry, women and men in the industry have to deal with. Because of the stigma surrounding sex work, we don't feel comfortable telling our parents, and we don't want to tell our close friends because of things like this where we get outed, and it's an incredibly isolating experience. My parents obviously were caught off guard, but they support me and they love me and they stand by me.
Have they suggested to you that maybe you go to another school? I mean, do you think you can finish 4 years there? Do you think you can finish 4 years at Duke?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that just me being there is a political statement, and it's saying that sex workers, we refuse to be stepped on any longer, and we refuse to be discriminated against. And I have a right to my education. I worked very hard to get into Duke, and I will not let people take that away from me because they choose to discriminate against me.
But I can't tell too many people discriminate against you right now. You mentioned this before. You have been embraced. You are like a heroine to so many people,
Right.
and that's perhaps a good thing. I think it's been overblown, as a matter of fact, the hostility. Now, you take me through it. Now, you've dealt with it firsthand, so take us through it.
I think you're not looking in the right places. There's actually literally forums and blogs started about me by Duke students where they listed where I live, they listed my parents' name, they leaked my parents' phone numbers, my birth certificates of people in my family.
That should not have happened.
I've also I've even shown these tweets on, I published these tweets where people have threatened to kill me. They told me to slit my wrist.
Well, don't republish those tweets. Don't
right. So I'm absolutely not overblowing it. Those threats are out there, and it's really unfortunate.
Is it along gender lines? Do you find that you're getting more hostility from women than men?
I think that the women who are criticizing me are either like anti-porn feminists, or they just simply don't like. They think I'm, a slut.
Right, you've been called that, right, by some of the girls at your school?
All the time.
That's not nice. But Belle, I will run this by you. I heard on a national interview a couple of weeks ago, you said some of the girls have been tough on you.
Yes.
And you thought that, well, maybe it's because they'd rather watch me than, their boyfriends would rather watch me than have sex with them. And I thought, you know what, there's some research that indicates those who use a lot of porn perhaps lose interest in their partner, whether it's a spouse or whether it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and that might be where some of the resentment is coming from. I just wanted to run that by you. You remember the interview? I was on Piers Morgan.
Right.
Were you saying that tongue in cheek?
No, I was completely saying that as a joke, and I didn't mean. I meant absolutely no harm by it. But I wasn't lying. I actually have had a lot of girls who were. They told me they were upset with me because their boyfriends were watching my porn. But I think that to say that porn ruins relationships, it's just another red herring, and it's just another way of attacking the industry.
Well,
personally,
it's not a full. I mean, there is responsible research out there. I mean, this is from Scientific American that have tied frequent porn use to attitudes such as assigning blame.
So what's your alternative? What's your alternative? Not having porn and censoring.
That's not what we're talking about.
Our world?
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But you are now an ambassador for the porn industry, and we get to run these questions by you because they're interesting. They're interesting.
Listen, you're very, very well spoken. You go to a great school. You look about 14 in person. I have to say, I'm a little disturbed because I feel like men who run this industry like young girls, and she looks about 14 in person. She looks like a young girl.
We've seen some of the clips.
So it upsets me even more.
Rosanna, let me tell you this.
As a parent.
I'm an adult. Yeah. I am 18 years old, and I can make the choice to do what I want with my body, and I stand by that.
And you do look older, actually, in the clips. You do look
right.
You do look more
I don't
mature.
think it matters how old I am.
No, because they're looking at your body.
Well, you see this. You look like an adult performer here, and it's true. In person, you look like a college freshman. There's a bit of a difference, but Belle,
porn is a fantasy. I'm performing. I'm acting. I'm living out the fantasies of other people, and I have never done porn where I pretended to be a child. I'm a teenager. That's what I do in all of my porn films.
Have you thought about what law school you want to go to?
Somewhere warm. But people ask me about this all the time. They ask me how my admissions process would be affected. I've actually consulted a few pre-law advisors at prestigious universities, and they've told me that I probably won't be accepted to any Catholic universities. But
are you Catholic?
I am Catholic. Well, I was raised Catholic. That doesn't necessarily mean that I am practicing now, but I want to go to a law school where I'm accepted and where they value my experience and they view it as a plus.
There's some schools out there that I think just look at LSATs and GPA, and that's all they're even allowed to look at. So
right.
Really, they don't Google some people?
Apparently, it's supposed to be a numerical equation. There are some schools like that.
Law and law school, they value the First Amendment, and the Civil Liberties Union are they're very big proponents of the First Amendment. So I think that to say that a law school would look down on me for doing porn,
some might
absolutely.
Belle, what was it like? I understand you were stripping last time for the first time in New York City. You were live on stage. What was that like?
Well, it was nerve-wracking kind of, but
why?
It was just,
It was your first time ever?
It was my first time ever, and I was so worried I would trip or mess up. But
were people screaming things at you?
They were just cheering at me. Everybody was really respectful to me, and but then I kind of got into it, and I had a lot of fun.
How much money did you make from last night?
I made quite a bit of money. I had, yeah, I made quite a bit of money.
Enough for room and board this year?
Not enough for room and board this year. Room and board is quite expensive, but it was a great experience.
Belle Knox, who once again, I want to make sure you emphasize that anybody thinking about this needs to do a lot of research first, and they may not come to the same decision you did.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, Belle, I think we'll be hearing from you in the future.
All right.
Stay safe, please.
Thank you.
Please.
Okay.